All new here at 10, the rules surrounding what colleges can and can't do with the money and their athletes has led to an East Texas university with a lawsuit on its hands. CBS 19's Jimmy Searfoss is in the studio with us tonight to explain more. Jimmy.
Yeah, Brennan, it's a whole new landscape right now. Ever-changing landscapes have forced some schools to reconsider where they want to put that money regarding athletics. But 6 women's down at SFA are saying the cuts that the university has made are illegal.
On January 17th, Stephen F. Austin State University announced its upcoming beach volleyball schedule, just months after the team wrapped up the most successful season in school history. But 125 days later, those same athletes were told they'd never play for the Lumberjacks again.
I got up and there was a message at 8:15 in the morning from our compliance saying, hey, mandatory Zoom call at 1. Everybody in our group chat is texting like, what do you guys think this is? Was just kind of, it was torture, honestly.
During that Zoom call, the team was blindsided with the news that SFA was cutting the beach volleyball program. Hours later, the university released a public statement. Men's and women's golf, women's beach volleyball, and even the 2-time national champion women's bowling team were cut.
We even had girls who had committed 2 days before to our school, to our team, and they're sitting in on the Zoom call. And it was just kind of like, hey guys, thanks for joining. And then they just dumped probably the worst news we could have heard about our program. And everybody was just tears, crying. And I was honestly just mad and frustrated. And I just asked, how is this not Title IX?
Enter Arthur Bryant, a longtime civil rights attorney who's been fighting Title IX cases for decades. Title IX is a federal law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in any education or athletic program receiving federal funds. Myers and 5 other athletes turned to him, filing a lawsuit on May 30th to fight for their teams.
Well, we have 2 goals with this lawsuit. The first is to immediately stop the elimination of these teams. But the larger and even bigger, more important goal is to get SFA to comply with the law and treat women and men equally.
Under Title IX, athletic opportunities must reflect student body demographics. SFA's undergraduate population is 63% female. Before the cuts, women just made up 47% of the athletic program. After the cuts, just 42%.
That's way off. To actually get in compliance with Title IX, SFA would have to add over 200 opportunities for women to play sports.
Instead, Bryant's team says SFA has cut every women's sport added since 2003. The only men's sport added in that time, baseball, is still active. The university cited budget issues and looming revenue-sharing rules in Division I sports as a reason for the cuts.
You can't discriminate against women to make money. You can't discriminate against women to avoid losing money. You can't avoid discriminating against women because some people would rather support men's sports or watch men's sports than women's sports. Doesn't matter.
Now, the school is allowing these athletes to transfer, but gaining new colors just isn't as easy as walking through the portal, especially for athletes like bowling, whose portal had already closed by then.
We had only a couple of days to get ourselves in the portal and start communicating with coaches, essentially. And I only had one school in mind, and unfortunately that school had already filled all their spots because the portal had already been open for some time.
Schools have in the past, when they have to eliminate a team, announced, for example, in September. That way, women and men could get their lives in order. They can transfer to another school if that's what they want to do. But SFA didn't do that. SFA announced at the very end of the year, when people had already put down money for housing for next year, when they've put things in storage, and they learned their team is eliminated, and they've got things in storage here, it couldn't have been worse.
Every woman involved in the lawsuit has decided to stay at SFA. Their legal team has requested for a preliminary injunction, hoping the court will reverse the cuts immediately so the team can have and prepare for the upcoming seasons.
It's really hard. I'm not going to lie and say that volleyball, it's okay if I don't have it. It is really hard to accept and swallow, honestly. These are my last 4 years to finish my sport and be done and come to terms with that. But not knowing it was my last season and not knowing that was my last time with my teammates is just really, it's just so sad.
When asked for comment on the lawsuit, SFA released the following statement. SFA is aware of the lawsuit filed yesterday. The university takes its Title IX obligations seriously and is prepared to respond through the legal process. As this is an ongoing legal matter, the university will not comment further at this time.
That preliminary injunction hearing will be held at the federal courthouse in Lufkin the morning of July 30th and 31st. Brennan?
All righty, Jimmy Sirpas in the studio will be, of course, following that story closely. Still ahead here on CBS 19 News at 10. Her home washed away, but her community didn't. The story of resilience, recovery, and the hashtag Uniting Kerrville.